Picture a couple enjoying a crisp, clear fall night in a rustic farmhouse in rural Maine. A light breeze is coming in from the west, a glass of wine in hand. Peacefully away from the hurried pace of the city, miles away from any neighbors. No light pollution, no sound pollution. A moment of serene quiet. Maybe too quiet. Strange occurrences have been adding up for weeks for the Martins family. Just then they see him coming out of the woods. They quickly lock themselves inside the house. The Martins find themselves being stalked, hunted, tormented, tortured by impossibly large wolves. No, not wolves, something else. What are they? What do they want with this family? Will anybody get out alive? I'm Chris.
And I'm Kathy.
I'm Sean.
And this is Weirder After Dark. So you guys have heard of the story of Skinwalker Ranch in Utah, right?
Yeah.
The Sherman family?
Yeah, UFOs, weird creatures. I don't know much about skinwalkers themselves, but yeah, I'm relatively aware.
I mean, I've watched the show.
So you know it all. Yeah.
Just to catch anybody up, in the early 90s, family by the name of the Shermans claimed to be terrorized by shape-shifting wolves, orbs, unexplained lights in the sky, paranormal activity. And all this activity eventually chased the Sherman family from their property.
As it should have.
That's a reasonable reaction.
Yeah.
Since then, there's been several long investigations into the property, as later became known as Skinwalker Ranch. There's been private, but also government investigations, and now the investigation continues with the TV show The Secrets of Skinwalker Ranch.
Which is a fucking hoot.
It's a great show. We just shoot fireworks at random shit.
We've talked about this before.
Yeah, we've gone deep. I don't know if I've shared this on the pod. Someone that I know, they have a relative who was on the show of Skinwalker Ranch.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah. And they asked me like what I thought about the show, and I was like, I don't know, man. If they're a little too far and weird, and they go, yeah, my relative is exactly like that. You described them. I was like, so that's why they're on there. Okay. Yeah.
Well, I'm not telling that story.
Okay. It's a good story though.
Yeah,
we cover stories from New England, not Utah. So
okay, that's fair.
If you do want to hear this story, go over to the podcast Paranormal Directive 13, where our friend Matt did an incredible 2-episode series.
Shout out, Matt.
Yeah.
Yes, I heard that. That is a good episode.
It's so good. He does a really good job of encapsulating the story and the strangeness. And that being said, I found a fairly obscure story from a small town in central Maine that has some eerie similarities to Skinwalker Ranch.
We have our own Skinwalker Ranch in New England.
Yeah.
Why have we not heard about this before?
It wasn't billed as the same story, but as I got into the story, I was like, wow, this is actually running parallel to the Sherman story.
Oh, man, I cannot wait for this then. I'm stoked.
It is a wild ride, guys.
Okay.
All right.
You ready?
Fucking shapeshifters. Let's do it.
So in the fall of 2011, the Martin family moved into a rustic, charming farmhouse on the outskirts of Palmyra, Maine.
I'm sorry, 2011.
Yeah,
so
me too.
super. I was expecting you to say like 1911.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off already. I had the same reaction. It's like 2011?
Yeah, a couple years ago.
Wow.
I don't know if I want to hear the story anymore.
So yeah, this shit's going on in Maine right now.
We're so close to Maine too.
So the farmhouse was surrounded by thick woods and was miles away from the nearest neighbor. It seemed like an idyllic place for Shelley, her husband Eric, and their daughter to start anew. The isolation was exactly what Shelley was looking for, a quiet, peaceful setting away from the constant light and sound pollution of city living. Having 6 acres of forest and Eric being an avid hunter and outdoorsman, they had found a small slice of paradise to restart their lives and to raise their daughter. Eric was out of work due to a back injury, and the downsize was financially the right move. But the slow down pace might have been psychologically the right move for the Martin family as well. The house was in disrepair after being neglected for several years, but planning on how to upgrade the house seemed to bring new hope and comfort to this family as they daydreamed about what the house could become with some attention and love. The rustic location offered no cell phone service. So the first day they moved in, they went into town and they bought a landline at the thrift store and put it into the kitchen.
Sounds like Allenstown. I had to go get a Verizon booster so I could have service.
In Allenstown?
In Allenstown.
I guess I didn't realize I didn't have service there.
Mm-hmm. It's like a dead spot.
Imagine not being able to watch Skinwalker Ranch.
While living in Maine, Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah.
That might be a good thing.
Yeah, maybe they can pick up any of the red flags. They could have known.
They would have known better. During the day, the property was idyllic, peaceful, a picturesque field, old-growth forest, a small pond on the property, right next to an old barn. But as dusk fell, the energy seemed to shift. The isolation felt more desolate than calming. The shadows seemed darker, somehow more present, almost solid, but not really solid. New noises, new smells, new sensations all felt more intense as the darkness of no light pollution covered the house and surrounding woods like a thick blanket. The first night in the house, Eric woke up to every creak or cracking sound in and around the house. Eric reminded himself it was just his mind adjusting to the new space, nothing more, nothing to lose sleep over.
That's reasonable.
Yeah.
When I was in Vermont at the lake house, I was there one night alone this year. And it was my first night ever. I've been going up there for 30-something years of my life that I slept downstairs. I usually stay in like one of the bunks upstairs. I heard so many creaks and cracks and moaning of that house when I was alone. That I didn't sleep a fucking wink, dude. That whole night. I've been there for 30 years. I'm comfortable there, and I was like, "What's that?
Yeah,
it's haunted."
Yeah.
That house is haunted.
Yeah,
Let's be real.
Yeah.
Well, we just moved into this house, and there's all kinds of new sounds. It's like, what's running? What's that knocking noise? And you get
like
used
adapt
to it, and you figure out what it is. But at first, it's a little
weird. Yeah, daunting.
So over the next few weeks, the family settled into their new space and routines, working diligently on repairing the home. Eric started to replace old rotted siding and old rotted floorboards on the moss-covered wraparound porch. He wanted to get as much of the outside work done on the house he could before winter set in. Shelley, not wanting Eric to have his guns inside the house with their young daughter, asked Eric to store the guns in the barn, so Eric built a wooden box with a padlock and hung it well out of his daughter's reach to store the guns in the barn. They worked hard on the house, but they also took advantage of the pristine woods, hiking trails, and fresh fall air as they explored the new property and life together.
Respect for like listening to his wife, putting the guns out into the barn. Like, I feel like most dudes would be like, my guns got me near my bed.
I feel like historically, a lot of our stories, that would have been the character.
Yeah. Like, I respect this guy.
You might second guess that by the end of the story.
Is this like a Conjuring type vibe? Like, that's kind of what I'm getting. Like, I'm getting like an Amityville Conjuring vibe off of these people.
This
like
is a story that I don't even know what to compare it to other than Skinwalker Ranch.
Okay.
It's a weird
Have you guys
story.
seen Signs? I'm getting like a Signs type vibe.
Oh, I saw that when it like
bit.
first came out with Mel Gibson.
I mean, I know that's aliens, but like, yeah.
So Shelley and her daughter were out walking the family dog in the trails one late afternoon before dinner. The well-behaved dog must have caught the scent of something and took off running down the trail. Shelley and her daughter ran after the dog. They caught up to find him urgently digging in a small hole under a tree.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I don't like this.
Yeah.
Shelley tried to call to the dog several times to no avail. She eventually had to pick up the dog and carry him away from the area to get him to stop. Her daughter was very upset about this and told her mom she was scared and wanted to go home now. Shelley explained this was probably just a chipmunk in a hole, and that's just what dogs do. Her daughter, who was not easily scared, remained very shaken by this event and couldn't explain to Shelley or Eric why. That night, she slept in her parents' room. So this really freaked her out.
Not quite as creepy as the S.K. Pierce house when the wife was like in the basement, like digging the hole.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
That's exactly where my mind went with this.
Yeah, I know like dogs dig holes, but still weird.
Still weird.
Still I feel a little weird about it.
Yeah, okay.
She definitely got a weird vibe from it. She definitely, something about it freaked her out. Well, a few days later, Eric was working on replacing the last of the rotted floorboards on the wraparound porch.
Don't find anything. Don't find anything.
Please find something. Please find something.
Finally finished with the last board, he stepped back to admire his work. He had a few hours of daylight left. He was itching to get out to the woods and start scouting for deers and places to hunt. He saw a creek earlier that week running to the property. He thought this might be a good place to hang his deer stand. So walking through the woods carefully, scanning for signs of deer, he made his way to the creek. Seeing deer tracks and deer scat at the water's edge, he then started to look for a tree at the perfect angle and distance to hang his deer stand. Walking between the trees, he heard a little girl's voice. He could not make out what she said, but the voice was clear as day. What is the little girl doing in the deep, desolate woods? He called to her, "Little girl, are you okay?" No answer. He searched for her. He frantically walked around the whole area, calling out to this little girl. No sign of her. After a couple of minutes, he started to second guess what he heard. Could it have been the crack of a tree or some strange splash in the creek? His mind must have been making it up. Why would a little girl be alone in the woods? And if she was, where did she go? Eric decided his mind was playing tricks on him and headed back to the house. He shared the strange story with Shelley. But as he was saying it out loud and Shelley was questioning him about it, it seemed to confirm for Eric that it was just all in his head.
What? No, dude, no. Okay, Chris, Kathy, have you ever been not near a dream state, wide fucking awake, and heard a voice and then like, oh, I must just be fucking with myself?
I have just recently. It was like a few weeks ago, sitting at our kitchen table, swore I heard our daughter go like, "Hey, mom," like, or "Hey, ma," like whatever it was. But it was her. I heard it. And then I like turned around, looked up like at the landing and everything. And like, obviously she wasn't there, but even like checked my phone to see like, was she like outside somewhere? Like, and I just like heard her and she was not at the house.
How do you justify it though? Are you already think your place might have been kind of spooky and haunted? Do you chalk it up as that? Or are you saying my mind was just fucking with me?
I kind of just took it as like my mind was just fucking with me.
See, that's weird.
Yeah, I just kind of like just took it, and I texted her, and I was like, "Hey, I'm like, where are you? Like, everything okay?" And she was like, "Yeah, I'm like working." And I was like, "Okay." I was like, "I swore I just heard your voice." And she's like, "No, I'm working." And I'm like, "Okay, but you're all good, so I don't know. All right."
I had something similar happen to make it even freakier. This actually happened in Maine too. I was at a camp in Maine, and I was one of the first ones up, and it was early in the morning, so I took one of the kayaks out, and I was probably 200-300 yards from the dock, and I heard somebody like literally over my shoulder say, "Chris," and I to the point where I turned the kayak around and to look and there was nobody there.
Damn, dude, that's so crazy. What do you think it is? Again, your mind? Or?
I just chalked it up as my mind's playing tricks on me.
Oh, that's so weird. And I've shared this in the story before about like me and my partner washed dishes one night. We both heard her mom say her name. And then we were expecting her mom to come there. And then her mom wasn't there, wasn't in the driveway. No one was home. So strange. All of us have this like similar experience to this. And like there's things called mimic supposedly that can like mimic the voices of a loved one and
to try to reach out.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. Whatever. I'm freaked out now. Moving on.
Oh, Eric heard it, but over the next few days, Eric could not get the voice of the little girl out of his head. Was he going crazy? Is she still alone in the woods? Could she have wandered off from a family camping trip? Late one night, when staring out the window at the wood line, he thought he caught a glimpse of a pigtailed little girl standing just to the left of the barn. As suddenly as she appeared, she was gone.
No, I don't like this.
Yeah.
Children
ghosts are the worst.
We've said it a million times. We'll say it a million more.
No.
A few nights later, during a late night trip to the bathroom, he saw a shadow standing at the top of the stairs. As soon as his eyes adjusted, she was gone again.
Oh, so it was her again?
Again.
Inside the house this
time. Inside the house this time. Eric, who did not believe in the paranormal, feared he started hallucinating or his mind started to spiral. Did he need a psychiatrist or a neurologist? Was he going crazy?
To be fair, you did say that like they did downsize their house. He has a back injury, not working. Like maybe there's some stress.
There's some stress and pressure. Sure.
Maybe.
And everyone seems to think that like isolation is like the cure-all, but that can make your mental state even worse sometimes.
Yeah. We haven't even got to the werewolves, and we're already trying to rationalize like, yeah, this isn't real.
So far, I can rationalize all of this, but it's about to get a little spooky.
Okay.
So a few nights later, Shelley and Eric, their daughter had already gone to bed, were sitting in the living room discussing paint colors for the kitchen when they noticed lights in the woods just beyond the edge of their property. They observed pulsating lights flashing intermittently through the dense trees. The lights were unlike anything they had seen before, faint glimmers of reddish orange, flickering in and out of sight, almost dancing in the tree line. The lights seemed to flash, and then seconds later flashed on the other edge of the field, moving way too fast.
No. Fireflies? Firefly. I'm going fireflies.
So good. It's aliens.
Oh, I don't like this at all.
So Eric guessed a group of trespassers or maybe poachers, deer hunting on the property under the cover of night. Shelley thought somebody might have been in trouble, or maybe they were out looking for the missing girl that Eric heard. Eric went out to investigate. Shelley's curiosity won over her fear, and she joined him. Eric led the way. His wife followed close behind, across the field, and deeper into the dark woods, quietly stepping on the dried leaves, littering the forest floor as not to alert the intruders of their approach. Eyes remained locked on the strange orbs as they danced and strobed, knowing each step the odd lights were going to come into focus and were about to reveal the true identity. About 200 yards into the woods, only 50 yards away from the dancing orbs of light, they all suddenly went dark.
No.
I have so much to say about this.
No.
An absolute silence fell over the forest. An unnatural silence, a deafening silence.
Oh, I don't like it.
Just then, Shelley felt a presence. She felt she was being watched. She could not see anything in the shadow-stricken forest, but the hairs on the back of her neck stood up. A sudden shift in the energy, a heavy dread befell her. The fight-or-flight instinct kicked on, but both Shelley and Eric froze. For a few seconds, scared to move or to make a sound, they stood perfectly still, knowing they were not alone in the dark woods. Shelley held her breath, so the only sound was Eric's uneasy breathing. Somewhere in the woods, no, everywhere in the woods, there was a heavy, piercing presence. Freeze turned into flight. Eric grabbed Shelley by the hand. They ran back to the safety of the house. Every step, they felt the presence following 2 steps behind. No, now 1 step behind. No, half a step behind. They finally made it to the safety of the door. Once back in the well-lit living room, doors locked, they slowly started to rationalize their fears. The orbs were just a trick of the light. The eerie silence and presence was just their imaginations taking hold in the new surroundings. They reassured each other, and their fear dissipated, and their rational minds started to take hold. Several hours later, the adrenaline wore off. They turned in for the night.
No, you can't go to sleep.
Yeah, there's so much to unpack there, and I wanted you to continue so we could hear it all. First, Shelley just following, like, I'm all for aliens. Like, I would be interested. I would want to go see it. But to go into the woods, just blindly following, honey, I love you. I'm not following you blindly into a dark woods.
Bye, Chris.
Bye.
Right.
Bye.
I'm not doing it. I don't think I could do that. So, and then to be out there and then just have the lights go out.
No.
And now you're in the woods. That's terrifying to me.
Well, you have to remember, Eric thought they were poachers. Shelley thought there might be somebody lost, or they were looking for the little girl, so she was going out to help.
And just imagine that moment. You described it so good, Chris, but like you're there, you think you're just about to get to them, you're probably calling out maybe.
Yeah,
or actually, they said they're silent, right?
They're coming into view.
Then everything's gone.
Dark.
Do they not have flashlights, though? Do they not have flashlights?
They didn't need them. There was strobing lights everywhere.
They went into... I would still bring a flashlight. This just really bothers me. It terrifies me. Which is why I'm feeling very anxious about this story. I just have a lot of feelings that are...
Can we just call out, too, that they're like, well, there might be strange men in the woods, and then they go out in the woods and leave their kid behind?
Yeah.
That
was the other thing, too, right?
I was thinking, Eric, grab a gun at least.
Yes,
yeah.
They think that there's, hunters out there hunting, which, first of all, is illegal. So, you're not supposed to be hunting at night. And they have guns, and they're just like, let's just go out there in the woods.
Yeah.
They also thought maybe somebody was looking for the little girl, and Eric could help. He heard her.
Yeah. That's a really good point, though, Chris, about, not grabbing a gun when you're going to get the balls on this dude. To, be able to just, I'm going to go in the fucking woods, and we're going to go fucking confront these fuckers. Care of it. Dude, sometimes I want a gun when I answer my door. Someone knocks, and I don't know who it is.
Sometimes I just hide in the living room until I'm not home.
Yeah. I've done that. Guilty. Oh, and then to go to bed? How do you go to bed?
That, again, is a reoccurring theme in these stories, that they're just like...
How do you rationalize that?
You rationalize it. A couple of hours, the adrenaline wears off. I could see that.
You could put yourself in that situation. See, I never understood this. Floating lights, changing, getting brighter. They're all around you. It's like a freaking rave out in the middle of the woods. And then it just vanishes.
Yeah.
No sound. And you could go to bed a few hours later and just be like, nah, I don't know what it was.
You know when you get those adrenaline rushes and then you crash off of it and you're exhausted?
Maybe.
I'm not hitting the panic button yet. This next part I can't explain away.
Okay.
And you'd be very proud of this couple.
Okay.
So several nights later, on a particularly warm fall night, Eric and Shelley sat on the back porch overlooking the woods, sipping on a glass of wine. A gentle breeze came in from the west as the hard day's work slipped from their minds and bodies. The odd orbs and strange presence from a few nights ago seemed like a distant memory or a story they had once heard. But the feeling tonight was anything but anxious and fearful. It was a true moment of serenity and peace, a moment of quiet. That was until the unnatural silence returned. The breeze rustling through the trees stopped. The natural noises of the forest stopped. The sudden silence put them both on high alert again. Suddenly from the tree line, only 60 feet away, 2 sets of glowing eyes emerged from the woodline.
No.
The eyes were large, bright, with unnatural fluorescent greenish-yellow hues. The eyeshine was about 7 feet off the ground, but what could it be? Could it be a pair of moose? Something climbing in the tree? No logical answers would appear. Nothing that they could make sense of, but they saw it. It was right there. Then, another and another, now 6 pairs of eyes glared through the darkness.
No, 7 feet in the air.
No figures emerged yet, still shrouded in the darkness of the shadows, but those large, unnatural eyes floating against the oppressive darkness of the woods. As the creatures stepped out from the darkness into the full illumination of the porch light that hung just above and to the left of the couple, they caught their first glimpse of what would terrorize them for the rest of the night and the rest of their lives. The creatures were massive, standing nearly 7 feet tall, covered in light brown to dark brown fur. They stood with hunched postures that gave them an eerie silhouette against the impossible darkness of the woods. The creatures had long and pointed ears sticking up several inches above their heads, and those haunting, glowing eyes, which seemed to pierce through the darkness. Giant wolves? But wolves didn't stand upright. They don't walk on 2 legs. But then what were they? Full panic set in, and the couple rushed inside and they secured the house, locking the doors and then the windows, moving room to room. They gathered the daughter and the dogs and barricaded themselves in the master bedroom, ironing themselves with kitchen knives, and then dragging furniture in front of the bedroom door.
This is like the smartest couple we've ever had.
Yeah.
This is the best.
Yes.
I believe this.
Yes.
This sounds real.
So they sat there in the bedroom, hearts pounding as they listened for any signs of movement, any indications that the creatures were still there. Then it started. They could hear heavy, unmistakable footsteps outside. First behind the house, branches breaking, grass rustling, then to the far side of the house, then back into the backyard. They were circling the house, slowly, methodically circling, waiting, hunting. Creatures moved with deliberate, predatory intent. The Martins were being systematically stalked like prey. The family huddled in the corner of the bedroom, in the perfect stillness and silence, listening to the rhythmic, slow marching of the beasts.
How fucking terrifying if all you're hearing is these footsteps and these breaking branches. And
And they're rhythmic. They're just same pace all the time. Hours went by like this. Eric thought to himself, my guns were locked in the barn. But where were the keys? There they were on the nightstand. Could I get to the guns? Eric, a hunter without his tools, had no way of protecting his family. Eric whispered to Shelley, voice shaking and uncertain, I'm going to make a run for the barn and get my guns. Shelley yelled, no, you're not leaving us. Just a little too loud. But did the creatures hear her? The family sat in silence for a few seconds to see if the rhythmic marching changed. No change. Just the pounding, circling of the creatures they had heard all along.
I mean, you got to go for the gun.
No.
You got to.
You're in a room. You've got knives.
Yeah.
There's got to be only one or two entrances. You're in the best defensive stance you can have. You're going to risk 6, 7, however many of these there are out there. No, you stay there until morning. You stay there until morning. Chris?
I guess
what would you do? I know you know how this goes, but what would you do?
I would do exactly what Eric does next.
Oh, what is he going to do?
Eric then whispered to Shelley, the landline is in the kitchen, just 2 rooms over. I can call 911. Shelley wanted to protest, but she knew this was a reasonable and rational plan.
Agreed.
Okay.
She whispered back, be careful and be fast. Eric removed the dresser from in front of the door as gently and quietly as he possibly could. Then a quick peek into the living room. Nothing. Gathering up his courage from the other side of the bedroom door, he then darted into the living room and into the kitchen, grabbing the phone off the hanger and slid underneath the kitchen table. Hands shaking so badly he could barely dial 9, then 1, then 1. It's ringing. Disarmingly calm female voice came over the phone. 911, what's your emergency? Eric whispered to the friendly voice on the phone, there are wolves circling my house. I need help. The operator replied playfully, we don't have wolves in Maine, sir. What you are seeing is coyotes. What I need you to do is get your pets and kids inside and make sure the doors are closed, but they're not going to bother you. Eric, now with more authority in his voice, but still cautious not to alert the beasts to his presence, said, no, you don't understand. These are not wolves. They're standing upright. There's something else. They're not quite human, but they're not quite wolves. Please send help. The 911 operator's tone changed. Sir, I need to keep this line open for real emergencies. Prank phone calls to the police is a serious crime. Eric pleaded. He had barely gotten the words out. Then he heard click.
No.
In the dial tone, she hung up on him.
No. Can't you just tell? Like, you can tell when you're being pranked and when it's, like, legit. Like the tone of the voice. I guess he's whispering because he's trying not to be loud, maybe.
Even if it is a prank, dispatch a patrol car over to the house.
You're in rural Maine, though, probably, right?
Yeah.
So, like, that might be still
middle of nowhere. Who knows?
Before a police officer gets there.
So Eric wanted to call back and protest to plead his case, but of course she wouldn't believe him. He wouldn't have believed himself just an hour ago. And also, Eric was desperate to get back to his family, so he gave up on the phone call. He got out from underneath the table, stood up just in time to make eye contact with one of the beasts standing outside the kitchen window.
No.
Those eyes, glowing, staring back at him. Eric thought, he saw me. They know we're inside. Even more unsettling, Eric saw the silhouette of the little pigtail girl standing next to the creature.
What?
Oh.
He somehow knew she was not in trouble, but rather she was with the creatures. She belonged to them, or they belonged to her. Eric ran back into the bedroom, pushed the dresser back in place, and held his family tight.
I don't like this.
Throughout the long hours of the night, the creatures continued their relentless stalking, marching, ritualistically circling their prey. The Martins kept vigil in the bedroom, every creak, every gust of wind sending them into heightened alert. When were they going to attack? The creatures made no effort to enter the house forcefully. They did not bang on the doors or shadow the windows. They never broke their march. The way they were circling, watching, seemed calculated, as if they were waiting for them to make a run for some kind of psychological warfare. There was a twisted intelligence to this that was not like an animal, but rather designed to induce terror. As the hours crept by, dawn finally began to break. Methodic marching seemed to stop. The creatures seemed to retreat as the first rays of sunlight touched the farmhouse. Eric and Shelley slowly emerged from the barricaded room. They cautiously stepped outside, the early morning's light revealing the scene that confirmed their worst fears. Around the house, large footprints, impossibly large, were embedded in the soft dew-covered ground. The grass near the pond was trampled flat, the once tall reeds crushed under the weight of whatever lurked there the night before. The ground was scarred with signs of the creatures. Their presence was not a trick of the mind, but now undeniably real. Shelley took several pictures of the prints with her phone in hopes that somebody could explain away or confirm their ordeal. Was it over? Will they return again tonight? The experience left the Martins shaken. They knew they could no longer stay at the farmhouse. The paradise they had discovered became their greatest fear, and the once warm, inviting home now filled them with terror. They immediately began to make plans to move, unwilling to spend another night in their dream house that had turned into their nightmare. The family relocated, finding a new home far away from the site of the terrifying ordeal.
This is a sound decision.
This is the first like horror-ish story that I'm thinking real right now.
Go.
Like this sounds real. Chris, photos of footprints, the phone call to 911. Do we have evidence of this actually happening?
Here we go.
Ah.
The Martins would later recount their story to friends and neighbors and eventually to paranormal investigators. The pictures of the prints that Shelley took that morning on her phone were lost when she switched over to a new phone.
No,
Oh,
come
Always.
on.
Such
Always.
crap. That is such crap. It's not that hard to transfer data from one phone to another, people.
That's what the paranormal people do. They
Yeah.
erase your phone shit. They take the pictures away. They make them
Yeah.
blurry. So some people believe that the Martins had truly encountered something paranormal, or maybe something cryptid. Perhaps even werewolves or skinwalkers stalked the woods of Maine. Skeptics dismiss the story as either a hoax or misidentified coyotes or maybe bears. For the Martins, that night will stick with them forever. It changed them forever. Shelley knew there were things in the world that she could not explain, and the feeling of being hunted for that terrifying night in the woods humbled her. She had a respect and a caution for all things paranormal. As for Eric, he will not go to bed to this day without a gun within arm's reach since the night of the incident.
Don't blame you.
Strange orbs in the woods, disembodied voices, apparitions appearing and disappearing, and impossibly large, upright walking wolves. This is a fantastic story, but it's also very similar to the Sherman family's experience when they lived on Skinwalker Ranch. Could these two stories from different sides of the country somehow be connected? Did the Martins use the Skinwalker Ranch narrative to spin their own clever hoax? Or could something really be happening in both locations? And if so, could they somehow be connected? That I leave up to you guys. All I can say is if you find yourself driving through Palmyra, Maine, late at night, don't stare into the woodline too long, because you might not like what's staring back.
Oh,
And that is the story of Maine's Skinwalker Ranch.
I'm going to give you a compliment here. You know why campfires in the middle of the field wasn't as scary versus now it's scary? Because I just want to give you super kudos here. Your
Hold on,
storytelling,
Kathy's going to play me a compliment,
No, yeah.
everybody.
your storytelling has improved so much. That was really well done. That was well written, and I was a little scared.
we have a lot of good episodes. I don't say this lightly because I think this might be my favorite episode
Yeah.
we've had so far.
Yeah, this is good.
It freaked me out a little bit.
Yeah.
As I was writing this, I was scared to go outside with the dog at night.
Yeah. Did they get a book deal? Did they try to make a movie? I want to prove how do we separate hoax out of this? Is there anything we have?
Were there other people that owned this house and property that had similar experiences before or since then?
I did not hear anything about that. They did try to make a mini series about this story, I think for Netflix. I don't know if it ever actually got made.
Okay.
But this was years after this event.
Yeah.
And this was slowly crept. It's not like they went out and they found all these paranormal investigators and started to shop the story. This is over
well, it's 2011.
Yeah, so
right?
5 years later, they started to make Netflix series.
Do we have anything about the phone call to the police? Like newspaper articles? Like was the research in the newspaper that you grabbed?
There was newspaper articles about it. There was paranormalists did cover the story. There's a couple of podcasts about it.
Yeah.
And then there was a little bit of information when I looked up the Netflix series, but I don't think the series ever actually got made. Yeah.
I'm going to do just a quick Google
Yeah, it's kind of a obscure story that I had never heard.
I've never heard of this either. This is like such an incredibly cool story.
And it's recent and it's local.
Yeah.
Like
and
some of these
scary.
stories, like the 1800s, okay, I have no way of knowing if it's true or not.
Yeah, or like verifying anything at all. This one gives me goosebumps. This one freaks me out. And Chris, like Kathy said, so well told, dude. Like, you really did a great job bringing this to life. I don't even know how to like process this one.
Okay, the dog's digging under a tree. That's explainable.
Yeah.
He went out into the woods. He heard a voice. It bothered him. Okay. Strange lights in the woods. Okay, now I'm freaked out.
Yeah.
But the end of that story, it's like, that goes to the next level. That's either it's a really well done hoax or there's something very strange going on in the woods of Maine.
I guess we got to unpack for a second. Like, why hoax it? You're going to get embarrassed. Your only hope of if this is a hoax is hopefully we can sell books or sell a TV series or a movie.
Yeah. And the fact that she said she took pictures
and then lost
them, that almost adds credibility to it, right?
Oh, really? I'm
for me,
opposite.
because if I was making this up, it's like, oh, I didn't think to take pictures. I should have done that, right?
Yeah.
Instead of, oh, I took pictures, but I lost them when my phone got switched over. Like, okay, that.
But I feel like a lot of people use that as an excuse.
If I'm just making the story up, I'm making up a better story than that.
On the flip side, though, leading me more towards hoax, let's say this happened. You're sending and texting those pictures to loved ones as evidence as you're telling people.
Especially in this
stories.
day and
right?
age.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, so like someone else has to have these images, right? Unless like you change the phone that day, like
right. I mean, you change the phone a couple of days later, maybe. But I mean, the first thing I would do is like, Sean, check out these fucking fake.
Yeah,
listen what
dude.
happened, right?
Yeah, you're texting like anyone I know. Like you're scared and you're sharing this story, like processing the story. I don't know. That feels a little made up to me.
Yeah.
And
if that's made up,
I really leaned into the story. I didn't really lean into Eric and Shelley. I don't know too much about them. Or if the Netflix series ever gets made, I want to watch that and see if that's close to the actual story and what they do in there.
I did do a little search and nothing popped up.
Look under Palmyra wolves. They didn't call it Skinwalker Ranch. I put that spin on it.
Oh, what a sick episode though. And this is the kind of things that like makes you love the genre that we're in, right? Like it's creepy. There's no explanation. You can't really ever know, is it true? Is it made up? Is it real? Like I feel like we've had so many stories that like I literally walk away from being like, it's so crystal clear that it's made up.
Yeah.
And this one, I'm like 60% fake, but like, I don't know.
It leaves enough out there that just plays with your imagination, right?
Yeah. And this is one that like I'm going to be thinking about next time I'm like alone in the woods and I see something.
Yeah.
I'm going to be thinking about
this is why I don't go in the woods.
Kathy, you've been kind of quiet looking at us. Any reaction, I guess, before we wrap up?
I mean, I think it's terrifying, the story. I don't know. You know how I feel about cryptids. I have a hard time with them, but I think I would have to lean towards hoax, especially because in 2011, a 911 caller hanging up, and like you said, like the cell phone and the pictures.
Yeah.
But like the 911 caller, like hanging up, I'm pretty sure I don't think they can do that. I'm sure I'll be corrected by our listeners if I'm wrong. But I don't think they can. I don't think they can just like hang
up. But
up.
it doesn't mean everybody follows the rules, right?
True.
But there would be a recording. But would they be able to access that recording without an investigation?
Worst case
order? I don't know.
Worst case scenario in that situation, dial 911, leave the phone off the hook, like connected to 911, and go back to your family.
He was getting circled by wolves. I don't think he was thinking as clearly as you are right now.
I mean, probably not, but
so realistic though. Those are real human reactions.
Yeah,
that's how I would handle it. Like
I heard a strange noise in the woods, so I went to follow it.
Yeah.
Like no, they barricaded themselves in the bedroom.
I would have thought to go get the guns. Yeah. Eric got a little further than me than I would have in that process. I wouldn't have been looking at my partner and be like, "What do you think?" I'm like, "No, it's a bad idea." but hey, like not going and staying in there. Then thinking about the phone, great logical next step.
Yeah.
Hiding underneath the kitchen table. Like, I'm assuming it's like a corded phone, so they have to be near the wall. Like, that all seems so realistic.
Yeah.
Dude, Chris,
Yeah,
what
good
a
story.
What a crazy story. I got nothing. I am scared of children, wolves, nights, everything now, lights in the woods. Like, I'm scared of it all.
I don't want to take my dog for a walk tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to watch you from the window.
Yeah, same, honey. I was going to anyways, but...
Well, again, we hope that you enjoyed tonight's episode as well. And if you did, be sure to go ahead and check us out on Instagram. That's at Weirder After Dark. Well, Chris will be going ahead and dropping some images that are going to go ahead and support his story. And don't forget, it's not just Instagram. If you are loving these stories and you want to interact with not only Chris, Kathy, and myself, but other listeners exactly like you who are loving this shit, we are out there building some communities right now on not just Instagram, but Facebook and Reddit. And they be popping off right now, I'm just saying. So come over there, interact with us. It would mean the world. And don't forget, we are always on the lookout for your weird New England stories. So have, I don't know, skinwalkers, wolves, you seen floating eyes, you see lights in the woods, any of that shit, send those stories to us. And you can send them to thegang@weirderafterdark.com. And if you are loving this shit, if you are absolutely falling in love with us and loving these stories, the best thing you can do to help us out right now is to go ahead and leave a 5-star review wherever you are listening. And if you haven't done that yet, what the fuck are you doing? Leave us a 5-star review. Feed us. And put a comment there. Say, Chris, fantastic storytelling. Kathy, be fucking scared of the lights. Sean, shut the fuck up. Do whatever you gotta do.
My ego needs it, guys. Please.
It'll mean the absolute world to us if you did. And remember, it always gets a little weirder after dark.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.